In ancient Egypt, cats were highly revered and held a special place in society. They were seen as magical creatures capable of bringing good luck and protection to their owners. Egyptians admired cats for their hunting skills, especially their ability to catch snakes, rats, and other pests that threatened homes and food supplies. The Egyptians noticed how cats could easily kill snakes with their agility, sharp claws, and quick reflexes. This made cats not just useful pets, but also symbols of protection against evil forces, especially since snakes were often associated with chaos and danger. Watching a cat calmly handle a snake made it easy for Egyptians to believe that cats had divine qualities. Apep, also known as Apophis, was the god of chaos. He was an ancient Egyptian deity who embodied darkness and disorder, making him the eternal opponent of light and Ma'at, which translates to order or truth. Ma'at herself is a deity, while Ra was the bringer of light and therefore Apep's greatest adversary. Since Ra was the solar deity, the upholder of Ma'at, and the bringer of light, Apep was viewed as his greatest enemy. This earned Apep the titles Enemy of Ra and the Lord of Chaos. The Lord of Chaos was often depicted as a giant snake or serpent, leading to titles such as Serpent from the Nile and Evil Dragon. The few myths describing Apep's origins suggest that he was born after Ra, usually from Ra's umbilical cord. Geraldine Pinch notes that a much later creation myth explains, Apophis sprang from the saliva of the goddess Neith when she was still in the primeval waters. Her spit became a snake 120 yards long. However, Apep was commonly believed to have existed since the beginning of time. Every night, Ra would battle Apep during his journey through the underworld to ensure the sun would rise again. Although Ra fought Apep in the divine realm, Katsu symbolically represented this battle on Earth, defeating smaller serpents just as Ra did. There is even an ancient painting depicting Ra in the form of a cat striking Apep with a knife. One of the most notable cat deities in ancient Egypt was Bastet, also known as Bast, the goddess of home, fertility, and protection. She was revered as a guardian deity, warding off evil spirits, diseases, and venomous creatures like snakes. Bastet's worship dates back to the Second Dynasty circa 2890 BCE, where she was originally depicted as a lioness-headed warrior goddess, similar to Sekhmet, the fierce goddess of war. It's important to note that Bastet and Sekhmet are sisters, both daughters of the sun god Ra, but they serve different roles. Sekhmet represents ferocity, war, and vengeance, while Bastet embodies protection, fertility, and domestic harmony. Additionally, while Hathor and Sekhmet are one deity, they represent different aspects of the same divine force, Hathor being a nurturing and loving goddess, while Sekhmet embodies her wrathful, destructive side. Over time, as domestic cats became more integrated into Egyptian society, her image softened. By the New Kingdom circa 1550 to 1070 BCE, Bastet was increasingly depicted as a woman with a cat's head. One of the most famous myths involving Sekhmet tells the story of how the sun god Ra sent her to punish humans for their disobedience and wickedness. In a fit of bloodlust, she nearly wiped out humanity. To save mankind, Ra had to trick her by dyeing beer red to resemble blood, which she drank, becoming intoxicated and ceasing her rampage. Her name is often translated as the Powerful One, or She Who Is Mighty, which underscores her formidable characteristics. Priests and priestesses who served her cult would perform ceremonies that aimed to balance her violent nature with her capacity to heal. Offerings, music, and dance were all part of the rituals designed to maintain harmony between her destructive and restorative powers. During an annual festival held at the beginning of the year, a festival of intoxication, the Egyptians danced and played music to soothe the wildness of the goddess and drank great quantities of beer and wine ritually to imitate the extreme drunkenness that stopped the wrath of the goddess. Mafded is another intriguing and somewhat lesser-known deity associated with cats in ancient Egyptian mythology. Mafded is most often depicted as a feline, commonly as a cheetah, lynx, or sometimes simply as a generic cat. In some representations, she appears as a woman with a feline head. This association with fast and agile predators underscores her attributes. Mafdet was primarily seen as a guardian who could protect against venomous creatures like snakes and scorpions. In a society where such animals posed real dangers, her intervention was vital. Mafdet is one of the earlier deities in the Egyptian pantheon. While there isn't a single dominant myth about her, she is consistently mentioned in texts and inscriptions as a force against chaos. In some traditions, Mafdet was associated with the pharaoh, serving as a guardian who protected the ruler from harm. She was associated with the protection of the king's chambers and other sacred places, and with protection against venomous animals, which were seen as transgressors against Ma'at. In the pyramid texts of the Old Kingdom of Egypt, she was mentioned as protecting the sun god Ra from venomous snakes. When Osiris was separated into pieces, Mafdet protected him while she helped bind the pieces together. Depictions in royal tombs associate the symbol of Mafdet with the symbol of Anubis, suggesting that Mafdet accompanied the gods as a hunter or executioner. Her worship appears in some of the earliest periods of Egyptian religion. Although her cult did not reach the later prominence of deities like Bastet or Sekhmet, her presence is noted in early temple reliefs and inscriptions. The worship of Bastet, Sekhmet, and Mafdet played a crucial role in elevating cats to sacred status in ancient Egypt. These deities embodied protective, hunting, and spiritual qualities that transformed cats into revered beings. Egyptians believed cats symbolized both nurturing guardians and fierce warriors, resulting in their divine treatment and unwavering respect. The punishment for harming a cat, even unintentionally, was death, a reflection of the profound belief in their sacred nature. Cats were not only valued for pest control, but also for their spiritual protection, believed to ward off evil and bring blessings to the home. Pharaohs and nobility often adorned their beloved cats with gold jewelry and earrings, emphasizing their elevated status as divine companions. In life and death, cats were treated with extraordinary care. They were mummified and buried in dedicated cemeteries, sometimes laid to rest alongside their owners or even pharaohs to accompany them in the afterlife. The bond between cats and their human companions was so deep that grieving cat owners would shave their eyebrows as a sign of mourning when their pet died. Archaeological excavations have uncovered thousands of cat mummies in Bubastis, the city dedicated to the goddess Bastet. The Temple of Bastet housed numerous temple cats, which were lovingly cared for by priests. Pilgrims from across Egypt traveled to Bubastis, bringing cat statues and offerings to Bastet's temple in hopes of securing protection, fertility, and good fortune. These sacred rituals and beliefs cemented the cat's role as a divine symbol, ensuring its place in both Egyptian homes and the spiritual world. Although the sacred status of cats gradually faded after Egypt's decline and the spread of other cultures and religions, by the late Roman period, cats had lost their divine significance and were treated more like ordinary pets. This transition was complete by the early Middle Ages, when cats were no longer worshipped but were instead valued primarily for their practical role as pest controllers.